Let me ask you guys, when you were young, were you like that? Kind of like Spyro? Trash talking, all sarcastic with, family and stuff?
Truthfully, I block out all memories from my childhood. Considering what happened to my family, I just don't think about it. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Honestly, my earliest memory is being on my own. I don't really remember my family. Not at all, really.
Really? Oh, I had no idea.
I've said it before, I've let the past die. I do really mean that.
That's right. Forgot about that. Never mind. Worlds are sarcastic now, right?
Yeah, I suppose you're right. All sarcastic bastards now.
On back of the backlog. Been gone for way too long. On back of the backlog. Got so many games to play, dog. On back of the backlog. Donkey Kong expands my dome. On back of the backlog. Me and Carlo been fucking since dawn. On back of the backlog. Did you know, yeah, Carlo wears thongs? On back of the backlog. I really fucking hate this song. Yeah.
Gnasty Gnorc is toast.
What is up, guys? It is Robert at Gaming with me, and welcome to Season 5 of Back of the Backlog, the series where we take a look at the games that I recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game Spyro the Dragon. Spyro is a franchise that I have no real history with, however it is one series that I definitely wanted to get deep into. For many, it's a franchise they grew up loving and apparently had a pretty rocky road after its initial trilogy. As someone whose favorite genre is platformers and wants to play a bunch of the mascot platformers from previous generations, this is a series that appeals to me. Running around as a dragon, shooting fire in a fantasy world, and platforming sounds like a pretty good time. As for games I own are Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, Spyro A Hero's Tale, The Legend of Spyro A New Beginning, and Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I haven't played any of these yet other than Spyro the Dragon that is included in this trilogy, which you may be asking, why am I playing the original PlayStation game over the newer shiny remakes? Well, I'm just trying to stick with the original games with this backlog series, so I decided to go with the PS1 version. Spyro the Dragon was released on September 9th, 1998 for the PlayStation. It was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Is Spyro the Dragon the best platformer on PS1? Does anyone else realize that Spyro the Dragon abbreviated as STD? Well, here we are 25 years after its original release. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story first. In the manual, there's a genuine intro story about 5 dragon worlds who lived in peace until this Gnorc named Gnasty Gnorc was just such an asshole that they banished him to this junkyard. Yeah, he didn't attack the dragons or anything, at least it doesn't say in the manual. It literally says he wasn't pretty, and his personality combined his short temper of a gnome and the bad attitude of an orc. Gnasty resented the happy dragon families. More than anything, he detested their beautiful, shiny jewels, which were not only nice to look at, but showed him reflections of his own ugly mug every time he did so. Gnasty became such a problem that he was banished to the dragon junkyard. What exactly did he do? I guess we'll never know because the game's intro cutscene is 40 seconds and it's all played for a joke. A dragon is getting interviewed when he's asked about Gnasty Gnorc, and well, this is his response.
Gnasty Gnorc is a simple creature. Simple! He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
That is the most straight to the point intro ever. I mean, it's comical, but why does Spyro immediately want to kick some ass? I give him props for taking action, but how does he even know what to do? I know I'm overcomplicating it, but the manual had so much more to say that I was surprised at how short this intro was. I'm fine with it, but I just have some questions. It's super funny how the manual and game completely contradict each other. The manual says, along the way he is accompanied by Sparx the dragonfly, his best friend. But in the game,
Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparx, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Well, that's two completely different things now. Regardless, that was the intro and we were thrown into this hub world.
Perhaps the manual is a prequel.
The manual is a prequel.
Yes.
That makes no sense.
Do you have a better answer?
The writer of the manual just wanted to do his own thing.
Maybe he just never saw the game.
Maybe you guys need to shut up and not overcomplicate it.
Right off the bat, visually this game is really good. Everything is quite simple in geometry, but that combined with the many wacky animations makes for a wonderfully cartoony art style. All the character animations are bouncy and exaggerated, which I loved. Spyro's character model is instantly iconic with one of the most unique looks in games. I had no clue Spyro actually talks, and he is one sarcastic bastard that desperately wants to kick Gnasty Gnorc's ass understandably. Spyro talks a decent amount. Every time you run into a dragon statue, you end up freeing them and sometimes have a quick little conversation with them. That is a big part of this game, freeing these dragons from being statues. I actually really like this idea because every single dragon has a unique name, and for a decent amount of them, something unique to say. It's really just a line or two, but it was fun to hear what each of them will have to say. Unfortunately, a good portion of them will just say, "Thanks for saving me," and that's it, while the others are just really tutorials, but it is a unique way of giving the player a tutorial, which I really enjoyed the concept. The game has several hub worlds that will have its own portals that will bring you to individual levels. Every area will have dragons to save, gems to collect, and even dragon eggs to take back. Initially, it seems the most important thing is to just save as many dragons as you can, and really that isn't tough to do, as throughout these levels, dragons aren't really something you look out for. For the majority of dragons you save, they really only serve as checkpoints to the levels. Once you free a dragon, a fairy comes out in which you can save the game, continue the level from there if you die. For the most part, these levels are fairly linear. Following the most basic path will take you to most, if not all, dragons to any given level. There'll be some areas of branching paths to explore more to collect more gems, which I thought was for people wanting to do 100% completion, but it turns out gems and eggs become a requirement to progress. In order to move on to a new world, these balloonists will be waiting for Spyro in each hub world, asking for some requirements before moving on. A specific number of eggs, or dragons, or gems. These requirements can sometimes be a bit of a grind. I had to turn back almost every single time, specifically when it came to collecting gems or eggs. Gems just don't feel like a mainline progress. They are everywhere in the world and they just feel insignificant in the need to collect them. It's not like dragons where they are their own individual, having conversations with them, being helpful in the case that they are literally checkpoints. You don't buy anything with gems, there's no story significance, there's no gameplay relation. It's just a collectible that makes a number go up, 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 and then you could progress. It's those type of collectibles that I feel should really be side content for people that really love the game and want to do every single minor thing to completion. And I really feel that when they throw out the number 6,000 of progress, like that's a super high number for no reason. At that point, it's literally padding to have you backtrack to previous levels, and while gems can go as high as 10 apiece, most are like 1 to 5, so it can take a bit to progress in the late areas of the game. It's not necessarily bad for this game, but it is very unnecessary. This is why earlier on I was confused as to why bosses in this game felt oddly optional. The only reward for defeating a boss were some gems. Well, I guess it's to get that 6,000 mark, although you could definitely still get there without versing any bosses. I still did play every single level as I enjoyed the levels, I just didn't want to go out of my way to get all these gems.
Did you know I could actually hold 6,000 coins in my pocket?
Bro, you could be like a bank.
I'd rather not. Makes me feel a little bit bloated.
What's the point then? I'm sure Finn has some sort of storage power.
I do, in fact. I can store items in another dimension, so you could essentially have unlimited storage.
Of course you can.
Your pouch don't seem too powerful anymore, does it?
Ah, piss off.
Hey, you brought it up. Speaking of bosses though, they are probably the weakest part of the game. It is so surprising how unmemorable and how unboss-like an enemy could be. I didn't think it was possible they could feel so weak. The first couple boss stages would just end and I would question, oh, did I just verse the boss? Yeah, all these bosses are these different designs, sure, but all these bosses run away from you and you have to chase them. Once you catch up to them, you shoot some fire, then they die. That's it. Yeah, all these bosses run away from you. Like, run away from you. So I was so confused when the level would end. I'd be like, Oh, yeah, that was the big bad guy. I'm serious when I say essentially every normal enemy you encounter is tougher and much more boss-like than the actual bosses, and many don't pose much of a threat themselves, to be honest with you. These bosses just feel like throwaways, and it's odd that they do that for every single boss. And yes, like I said, normal enemies aren't super challenging themselves either, and that's because this game is a very relaxed platformer, which is fine, but at that point just don't have any bosses in the game. There are some frustrations that I have that happen a little later on in the game, but it's more due to finicky controls and hitboxes than challenging enemies. Spyro has a unique yet simple moveset. He can shoot out fire, dash which can headbutt enemies, and he can also glide off of taller areas. It's a fun, easy to use moveset that matches a dragon character, which is really neat. The controls are overall quite fluid. He's a heavier character that doesn't jump super high, but with his dash he can run pretty damn fast, breaking through metal chests and taking out enemies with armor. It did take me a bit to fully understand the dash as I was moving forward on the analog stick, which made movement super wonky and thought it didn't work well, but really dashing has him moving straight already, having you only control his left or right, really making the dash great and work really well with the environment. Gliding also works pretty well, although I would have liked it to be slightly more tighter as it feels a little too loose, but you'll really only feel the negative of flight in the levels that are made exclusively of flying. There are a handful of flying levels and are honestly way too brutal. They have these super tight timers and a ton of things to destroy or pass through that makes it way too challenging and just not fun. It really shows off the negative of the flying and how if it was tighter in terms of turns, then it could have made for a better set of levels. The main negative I have with controlling Spyro is how you gotta shoot or jump somewhere a little too dead on. In terms of shooting flames at an enemy, it happens too many times where I feel I absolutely got the enemy but instead get hit because somehow the flame passes by the enemy's hitbox. There's just no flexibility and can affect gameplay at times. That's the same with some platforming sections, as it's not quite a full 360 degrees in terms of movement, and you can't really move forward in air, so when you jump you have to dedicate the angle you're at, causing some unnecessary deaths. But for the most part you won't be dealing with these issues as a lot of levels are very large and wide in design. A lot of these worlds have an atmosphere of a fairy tale, like you are exploring a storybook, which I liked a lot. I started to notice though that a lot of the designs in the last few worlds would be a lot of placing 3 enemies, go straight, another 3 enemies, go straight again, but I was still enjoying it to a degree. They start to get a little heavy on the enemies in the later parts of the game without any thought, I feel, and that's something that Insomniac still does to this day. Spyro the Dragon is at its best when it's purely exploring levels, gliding from one area to another, but nothing truly stands out as great. It's fun for a large chunk of the game, but once you realize how a lot of the level is going to play out in terms of enemy placement and how you know the directness of attacks are going to cause unnecessary deaths, well, it can become tedious and sour some of that enjoyment towards the end. It's not like you approach enemies any different towards the end. It's either fire or dash at them, and that stays consistent for pretty much the whole game, which I'm now going to talk about the final world just to let you know.
You know, I never did make it to the last world. Too many gems to collect.
So you didn't finish the game?
No.
I thought with the new season you'd maybe turn a new leaf.
Well, you thought wrong.
You could say he's going to New Horizons. He lives in a wild world as a seafood.
No.
What? You didn't like my puns?
The final world is Gnasty's world. This was a really fun world where you bash into bombs, sending it flying into enemies that get stripped down into their underwear before exploding them again. It's funny, it's entertaining, and it's a different way to take on an enemy. I wish they explored this more, using the environment to take on enemies. It would have spiced up the combat and make encounters more memorable. The level design is still a lot of enemies lined up, but in terms of platforming there was a lot of verticality and gliding to areas that made for a really good world overall. Then finally we face Gnasty Gnorc. All this build-up leads to this finale. Gnasty Gnorc is up high, shooting magic at you as Spyro scrambles to avoid it. He stands on top of a lock, and behind there's this fast enemy from previous levels holding a key, so you have to go chase it. Okay, fine, we'll go chase after the bastard and get the key. The key is collected, and now it's time to get Gnasty Gnorc. The key doesn't work. Okay, there's another door with a lock. Open that with a key, then there's another fast guy with a key. What? Why? Isn't this supposed to be the final battle? Why are we using this level to chase down 2 normal-ass guys? Fine, You collect the key and unlock the staircase to Gnasty Gnorc. Let's fight this best. Are you kidding? He's running away! Please don't tell me this is just like every other boss. Well, as I chased Gnasty, I fell off, killing Spyro and the level restarted. And, oh, there's no checkpoint. I have to chase the two guys again? What? Yes, every time you die, you have to tediously chase the two guys over and over again. Why is this part of the final level? It's just tediously chasing these two dudes. Then when you get to Gnasty Gnorc, it generally is just more chasing. What the fuck were they thinking with this? Once you nail the path Gnasty is running, you shoot fire at him and he ends up running away into this fire area in which you have to perfectly jump from platform to where Gnasty is before the platforms give out and you fall into the lava. Problem is, the platforms go too fast and Spyro just isn't the game built for fast platforming, so it barely works. You fall into the lava and now you gotta chase the two guys again, then chase Gnasty Gnorc again. And hopefully you kept it perfectly, or you'll be running for another lap, and 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 another lap, until you get another chance at the lava section and fall off because Spyro isn't straight enough with his jump, causing you to run another lap, and 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 another. Fuck me! What were they thinking with this? This is one of the worst final battles I've ever seen in my entire life. There's no combat. There's no battle. There's not even fucking platforming other than that worthless lava section. We're just running around like idiots. What a waste. Finally, after a good 30 minutes of attempts, I managed to perfectly scale this lava section, run up to Gnasty Gnorc, shoot a flame, and then he dies.
You're toast, Gnorc.
Yeah, there's nothing after that lava section. Thankfully, I guess. He dies from 2 flames from Spyro, which feels very weird. Then a 23-second cutscene of Spyro getting interviewed in which he's asked,
So now there's order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to pick up.
What will you do next?
I'd say the sky's the limit.
It's a funny little ending continuing the beginning, but I'm sorry, he doesn't even answer the questions. What does collecting treasure have to do with order in the world? That should be the answer to the next question. What are you gonna do next? Not, sky's the limit! I'm sorry, that final boss just destroyed me. Then the credits roll. I like these credits with the flying around the levels environments and the no sheep were harmed during the creation of this game. A few Gnorcs, but no sheep. I like that. Adds some personality to the credits. That was Spyro the Dragon. For a while, I wanted to say this was a good game, but realistically breaking it down, it's more okay. There's a lot to enjoy about it, and for a large chunk of the game, I could play it and enjoy it, but there are too many things that bring it down, keeping it out of being good. The unnecessary gem collecting, the stubborn hitboxes, the repetitive enemy placement for level design, the waste of bosses, and the giant fuck you of a final level brings it down. While none of these individually are so bad other than the final level, it's the culmination that drags it down. There's still fun to be had with a lot of the levels, the creativity of the world, the unique moveset, the animations, the characters, but as an overall game, it definitely falls short in a decent amount of areas for me. Overall, I'm going to give Spyro the Dragon a Spyro became an Olympic runner by the end, out of 10. It's tough for me to say this because I was enjoying it for the most part and really thought it was good. But thinking about it, realistically, the game just leans towards more okay. I still do want to check out some other Spyro games, as any negatives I have in this game could easily be addressed, and hopefully they were. What's the next Spyro game I'll play? Who knows? Only time will tell. That'll be it for today though. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Spyro the Dragon? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Spyro the Dragon was an okay yet unique platformer, but it is officially out of the backlog.
Damn, did you make those?
Really? No, of course not. It's frozen meatballs.
They look like they're still frozen.
You think so? A little hard.
I'm surprised we're doing the whole Friendsgiving thing.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. I don't. This is more than just Friendsgiving. Cause yeah, we are family.
We're like an actual family.
Yeah, we're family. And I realize that for all you guys, that this is a very family-focused time, and it might make you feel some sort of way, especially, you know, thinking about your past. And I don't want you guys to feel hurt in any way. I want you guys to feel welcomed into a family, and that's what we are. That's what we've been for the past 4 years. Every day, every month, we're here together. And I wanted to kind of celebrate that moment and just appreciate you guys, because I don't feel like I do that enough or at all. So thank you guys. I'm thankful for the three of you, and I appreciate you guys a whole lot more than my awkward ass could describe.
I'm not good at this either, but I may let the past die. However, the present and future are with you guys. Yeah, that means it's special. So thank you. All of you.
I haven't been alone in such a long time now. Thanks to you three. I really appreciate it. A lot.
You three are genuinely my brothers. Thank you. I'm glad I broke into this house 4 years ago. Life would be very different if I didn't.
That was a good heart to heart.
Now how about you actually go heat up those damn meatballs so it's not frozen?
Damn, we just had a heart to heart moment. You already hated on my microwave skills.
You know, I actually picked up the next game that we could play for the holidays.
Okay, that's always a good thing. What's the game?
Let's just say you'll be too excited to play the game today or tomorrow or Tuesday night. It'll take Great 42 to finish the game.
That was probably the worst hint of all time.
Man, it's the second one in the franchise.